Attention, everybody. The views and opinions expressed on the show are not necessarily those of Acts Ministry, Acts Media Group, and or their affiliate and subordinate ministries and or nonprofits. Here he is. Here to be a goofball, but also talk about some serious stuff. Take it away, Johnny Rooster.
You know what, Matt? That is a song I wrote. I picked it out on the keyboard. It sounds like it's picking the banjo. That's the idea behind that one. Good morning, everybody. It's Johnny Rooster. You're watching Morning Mouth every Friday here on Acts Media Group. And as go ahead, Matt. You got something to say?
I was just making sure I wasn't going to blow it.
But I was just saying that little tune is Getting Down on the Farm by Johnny Rooster. And your host, Johnny Rooster, what we do here is we say and do things that you don't normally hear or see. And that's very unusual. But what I do have that is usual is two guests, and I start with one and I finish with another. The first guest today is Mr. Alan Evans of ReeceNichols Real Estate. Welcome, Alan.
Good morning. Good morning.
I'm glad to have you here. Alan, I brought you along. It says Real Estate Stories. A lot of people, there's realtors and lawyers on every corner, the way it feels sometimes.
Right, yes.
Lots
indeed.
of competition out there.
Tons.
And the market can really make a difference. Some of these people, well, many of them, well-meaning, are struggling because it's just, there's so many.
That is correct.
And they're running out of inventory because the house is just, woof, sell, sell, sell.
Absolutely. Inventory is extremely low, and everybody's fighting for it.
So we got stories to tell about what's going on. I know a lot of people are talking interest rates. Are they going to stay like this? Is it going to be a frenzy for a while?
I think 2021 is looking up. I think 2021 will be basically like 2020 in regards to our market. With all the changes going on, I think after 2021 we'll see some changes. We've already started seeing some changes the first couple of days, obviously, and there's more to come. But I think as far as our market goes, I think we're going to be pretty strong for this year.
That's great. I mean, I think a market pretty strong for this year sounds good. What does a strong market look like?
Well, the market as we sit right now, there's just no inventory. Anything but up to say $200,000, we've got less than a month of inventory, which means there's nothing out there. Did a search for a couple the other day, looking for something in the $175,000 range, and in Greene County, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, yada yada, and there were 13 houses.
Yeah.
And you've got over 3,000 agents in Springfield. So
how are you going to all find something to sell? That's
door knock, call people, find off market. I sold one a couple of weeks ago that was 100% off market.
Wow. And how did you find it?
Networking.
Okay.
And friends and people, from some motorcycle groups I rode with, and networking and just meeting people.
Alan and I are both part of Courageous Business Connect, and that's a great way to make business connections. There's other networking groups available for people that are like-minded business owners or operators that are independent contractors that want to produce more business.
Absolutely.
So these groups meet for breakfast or a lunch or someplace, a public place. This group, CBC, works Monday through Friday events.
Absolutely. Some 2 a day, some 1 a day. I think there are 8 scheduled meetings a week.
So the purpose, again, is to get people together that are in a business environment and share, get to know each other, and not just to do referrals, but to actually know one another so that they can feel comfortable with referrals.
Absolutely.
That's important,
Absolutely.
Isn't it?
Well, it is. It is. I got a message this morning from someone in our group that is in need of looking for a home, and I've been in the group for a year, and it's time. She's like, I want to talk to you, and it was a good feeling.
So this is what we're going to do. Audience is out here watching it on YouTube, Facebook, and other formats. It's 9:08. You can see the big clock there. We're going to go to 9:25 and tell some stories, and that's what I want to accomplish here. Everybody, you're going to hear some stories about real estate transactions or whatever's going on in your world. Alan, so tell us how you got involved, how long you've been doing it, but let's hear some good stories.
Quick little synopsis of how I got involved. I grew up in the real estate business with my family back in Tennessee. Decided that, as most rebellious kids do, that they want to do their own thing, and I did my own thing for years. I never really was a part of the family business, and was in retail for many, many years. And about 2.5 years ago, decided at my old age that I needed to decide what I wanted to be when I grew up, and told my better half, I was like, I'm going to go get my real estate license, and she said, okay. Took the class, passed the test. I'm like, what do I do now? She said, keep going.
Keep going.
And so I did, and interviewed with a lot of companies. I'm kind of weird like that. I want to make sure that I am where I need to be, and ended up at ReeceNichols. A friend of mine, I had made up my mind to go someplace else, and a friend of mine said, had I gone with a larger company, that's who I wanted to be with. And when I interviewed with them, there was a personal connection. Turns out that our current broker owned a company in Branson when my father developed in Branson at one time, and remembered my father, my brothers, how's everybody doing?
Oh, wow.
It was like being at home.
Yeah, you were already introduced.
And then once I joined the company, I found out there was another young lady there who was originally from Memphis, where I'm from. And it turns out we were at the same school at the same time. She's the same age as my sister, and my sister,
Wow.
the two of them remembered each other. So I mean,
What a connection already.
it was just a small world, and I've been in Springfield 26 years.
26 years.
So that's how I kind of got into it. And
You were doing real estate the whole time as well in Springfield? Or
No. I was in retail. I was in the lighting industry.
Yeah.
Retail, more residential, a little
Yeah.
bit light commercial, but more retail. And it was just, in retail, you just top out.
Yep.
And it was just time for me. It was timing. It was all opportunity.
And you've been in real estate how long?
About 2.5 years is all I've been
Okay.
doing,
Yeah.
but it's been very, very strong because of my sales background and some connections. And like I said, I was in retail in Springfield for many years, and now I wish I'd done this 20, 25 years ago.
Do people get into real estate later in life? I see that trend, and they also have another occupation in the background, or do they just jump over?
It's kind of both, and interestingly enough, you mentioned that. I actually do have a second position that I've had for many years, and I've only held on to it because of future pension and
Okay.
in retirement. It's hard to give kind of that up once you've been with somebody so long. So hopefully be retiring from there this year, and that's kind of my side gig, but real estate is my main gig.
So tell us some stories.
Stories. I mean, they're just stories across the board. You meet in this industry, as well as with what you do, you meet so many different people and different personalities. And the biggest thing with real estate and getting into the business is just learning those personalities, learning how to deal with those personalities, and educate people. People who think that they know, the process. It's a lot more detailed than you think it is. Starting from my very first one, a great couple who was moving here temporarily because of work. She's a nurse, and she couldn't get a job where she was up in the Columbia area. And they said, we're going to buy a house. I'm going to be there for 3 to 4 years, and you're going to sell it in 3 to 4 years. And that was my very first sale last year, or a year and a half, almost 2 years ago.
Wow.
And it's just been going up from there. It's just basically knocking on doors. For people that get into real estate, it's not people think, oh, everybody's making all this money in real estate. It's not as easy as you think it is. You have to enjoy what you do. You have to pick up on personalities, be able to talk with people. And I feel like that I've done real well with that. I more than doubled after my first year, which I had a really great year for a first-year agent. Last year was 2.5 times what I did the year before.
Wow.
But there are some interesting stories. I mean, you've got people who want to buy a house and they have a 500 credit score. Doesn't happen, but you've got to educate the people, and you don't kick them to the curb. You keep them around because a year later they may be at a 700 ready to buy.
So can they change that credit score that quickly then?
They can. It depends on the circumstances. It depends on how bad it really is. As a real estate agent, you make connections like we network, like you had said, and you make these connections to get people connected with people that can help with your credit, credit solutions or pay off debt or whatever you need to do. You try to connect people, and it's all about education because most people don't know. They don't know that there's sources out there, that there are people that can help them with their credit issues.
Do you think we're going to snag ourselves again like back in 2008 with some more loans being extended than what should be?
No. Back in 2008, there was a lot of creative financing.
Okay.
I wasn't in the industry back then,
Right.
but as a homeowner, I was a part of it. And fortunately, I didn't fall into that gap, but there are a lot of people that did. And there was
But they're not going to have these over fancy terms
No.
where you can manipulate the system anymore.
No, I mean there are some government loans that are out there that people can get in homes for. USDA, if it's in rural, you can get in for basically almost no money down. VA in particular, you can get in for no money down. But no, they're very restrictive on the government loans, and so I don't think you're going to see a whole lot of that.
Who are the typical home buyers these days?
It's really across the board. I mainly have been working with a lot of first-time buyers, and I enjoy working with first-time buyers because, again, I like to educate. I like to walk them through the process. I've had several that have said, I don't know what the process is.
Oh, okay.
Teach me.
Sure.
What do I need to do first? Get pre-qualified. Let's see where your credit is.
And how do you do that?
Typically, I connect them with a lender. I work with lots of different lenders. I've got one in particular that I work with that, you build relationships. But I've worked with a lot of different lenders, and I suggest, first I suggest, who do you bank with? I'd rather you deal with somebody you're comfortable with. If not, let me give you these names. And get them in contact with somebody who can first run their credit and see if they can pre-qualify. If they can't pre-qualify, typically the lender will say, this is where you're at, this is what you need to do to fix it, and then I try to suggest people or suggest avenues on how to build that credit. I am not a credit person by any means. I was in the same shoes with debt up to my eyeballs just like everybody else. But once we get them through the pre-qualification process, that's when we start looking. Sometimes we end up looking before and then find out your credit's not good enough, and
So you got to pre-qualify first. That's the real important.
It's really best to do it that way, but there are a lot of people that don't.
And when they don't, then they don't always have options like they thought they might.
Exactly. Or they may have to wait 6 months.
So it's worth it to get pre-qualified, no matter how
Absolutely.
uncomfortable it might feel.
Absolutely. And, of course, obviously, once you're pre-qualified, if you find a home and you make an offer, the listing agent, the other side, they want a copy of that pre-qualification letter so they know, hey, this is a real deal. This isn't.
Are there some things that for sale by owners miss out? Or are they okay? Is it okay to try that route? A lot of people are afraid that they're going to get some of their profit to the agent because they're trying to sell it themselves. Are there pitfalls to that, or is there advantages?
Yes and no. It's really pitfalls for the agent. Obviously, you're only getting one side or whatever. You're not, the listing agent to represent them. But there are a lot of people that try to do for sale by owner because they think they're saving money.
Yes.
But because of their lack of knowledge of the industry, it's actually costing them money.
And I wanted just you to briefly describe that really easily because some people need to hear that.
Well, that's basically what it is. There are lots of ins and outs that you have to make sure that everything is done. You want to make sure that yourself is covered. There's music going on.
Hey, Matt, I'm hearing music in my ears. Anybody out there? Hey, you guys out there? I'm hearing music in my ears. They're really strange, like a symphony. Sounds like a synthesizer. Now it's gone.
Almost like a synthesizer.
It's popping on
introduction.
and off. Yeah, it's like a synthesizer.
Introduction.
Sustained, but then it just stopped. Anyway, Oh, so
So anyway, the biggest thing when an agent wants to list a house and you're talking to a for sale by owner, again, it's about protecting yourself. Our Missouri contracts are very detailed and very explicit on how to what protects. Appraisal, financing, earnest money. You in the event that there are repairs that need to be done. The owner, the owner of the home, the seller can step back and let the agent, take the reins and do it for them to make sure that the deal is negotiated correctly.
yeah, so doing all this on your own could be pretty daunting, and you may fall through some of these areas where it costs you more money and time than it needs to.
Or on the other hand, it could be a better situation. Of course, I've got some distant family-in-law that reached out recently. They sold some property up by the Fort Leonard Wood area, and they just kind of did a handshake deal. The bank kind of put a letter together, but they didn't understand it. So being that I was family, they called and asked me for help. And that's one of those situations that we talked about because there were a couple things that fell through the cracks that they had to live with because they didn't know any different.
So if you guys are just tuning in, it's Morning Mouth on Axe Media Group. I'm Johnny Rooster, your host, and we're talking to Alan Evans of ReeceNichols. If you haven't decided whether you should buy a home or you're looking to maybe check out a credit score situation, you don't have any, you're afraid to ask, would they be able to go to you and find out all the things that
You betcha.
Because they don't want to commit. They're afraid that they're going to spend a lot of money. They just want to know. Is there a way to do that? What should they do? Are there good ways to, like, okay, I kind of want to sell my home, but I'm not really sure, or I want to buy a home. Is there a good, safe way to say this is your first step?
Absolutely. Well, the first thing is if somebody's saying I want to sell my home so I can, it's a great market, I know I can make some money. First thing I do is I'll sit down with them. You want to earn their trust. If they don't know you, let them know who you are. It's like sitting here with you. You're finding out about me. Let them know what you will do for them. Okay, and then the next thing is run comparables. That's what we do is we are taught and educated on how to run comparables to tell somebody what their home is worth. They's like, oh, well, I saw it on the Zestimate online.
Yeah.
Well, that's really more a guesstimate because Missouri is a non-disclosure state.
So you're not getting an accurate.
You're not getting an accurate number.
Home value. It's not
Exactly.
the home values you see on the screen are not necessarily the real value of the home.
But they could be. I mean, they're
they might
close.
be. Yeah.
They're close. But Missouri's a non-disclosure state, so a lot of times we'll see things that have closed in the multi-list, and there's no price on there because nobody wants to disclose it, and that's fine. But it's up to us to look around that kind of stuff and work with the tools that they've given us to give somebody a true comparable of what their house is worth, and then we kind of move on from there. As far as somebody buying a home, again, it's getting pre-qualified. Figure out what their income is, because when they get pre-qualified, the lender's going to say, okay, I can lend you up to this dollar amount, and that gives us a window of what we need to look at realistically.
Great. Now, is there any other funny or unusual things that have happened to you personally in the real estate industry?
I haven't really had any funny things per se that were unusual. I mean, I've run into quite a few brick walls. I had a listing in Republic last year that had a very squirrely lender, and so much so to the point they would not. I was the listing agent, and typically the lender works with the buyer's agent and the buyer, and they wouldn't work with the buyer's agent, and I had to finish putting the deal together, and I'm working with the buyer's agent, and I'm not even the buyer's agent. I mean the buyer, but I'm not even the buyer's agent. So you just run into all different kind of speed bumps, if you will, and you just have to adapt and overcome. I don't have any necessarily funny stories, except the fact that I've made a lot of good friends with people since I've been doing this through my clients, and I stay in touch with them. I've become Facebook friends. I try to reach out from time to time. Hey, how you doing? What's going on?
So it's not just a once and done. You're
it's not
making
just a once and done. I had a couple last week. We closed on a house about a week and a half ago, and they hadn't closed on theirs yet, and it was just. We thought it was going to be a disaster. Theirs was delayed, but we couldn't delay our closing here, and They moved in. They had no furniture because their truck was 4 days late, so they had nothing. You know, you take food over to them, whatever. You know, you just build those relationships and you keep those relationships.
Well, that's wonderful. And speaking of relationships, is Billie in the house? She can come on in and join us. We're going to have Billie Orosz coming in. She's part of a network group that we are a part of as well. And we're going to talk to her also. And I'll have you stay on in here, if you will, Alan. Are you good with that?
Absolutely.
That's great. Good morning. So you're going to hit the ground running, put on your headphones, and they'll help you with that. So, Alan, you've got a couple of years' experience in real estate, but your real experience is in life, and you have developed as a retailer. You've had a long relationship with customers.
Absolutely.
And now, with the difference between retail and real estate, what is it for you as the person?
I think it's just more hands-on, and you really become even closer to people. You know, retail, they come in, or you've got these regular customers that come in. You only see them when they're in the store. In real estate, I go to them.
Yes.
You know, and we build those long-term relationships, and it's not just about the house purchase. You know, being in real estate, you connect people with all different industries. If you need furniture, if you need to redo your floors, if, you know, whatever you need, like Billie will tell you, you know, in our networking group, you know, we try to refer people within our groups to just kind of promote each other, and it's a deeper relationship than just retail.
That's great. Thank you. This is Alan Evans of ReeceNichols Real Estate. Now, as you're watching Johnny Rooster on Axe Media Group, we're also going to be talking to our next guest, who happens to know both of us through a networking group called Courageous Business Connect, a way to bring business people together. But it's good to share. Billie, is it Orosz?
That works.
Did I say it? How do you say it? You tell me how you say it.
That's how I've been saying it.
But how would you say it if you were saying it correctly?
Well, I heard a lady who's from Eastern Europe, and she knew that name because it's a popular name over there. It's Orosz. So you have to roll the R, but you know, we're in South.
I think that
Missouri.
Andy would like that.
He probably would. Yeah.
Orosz.
Orosz.
We have a friend who speaks Spanish as his primary language, so Orosz.
You need to add that to your Rooster introduction music.
Yes, the Orosz. So, Billie Orosz. It is nice to see you here today.
It's nice to be here.
I like to have fun on my show, so you give me this. Much joy.
Okay.
Billie has been acquainted with me a little longer, so she's had a little more time to absorb some of the shock of knowing me. Welcome.
Oh, you. It's nice to be here. Yeah.
Right. It's an OU moment. Matt and Jay are running the controls. They have a morning program called The Morning Drive every Monday through Friday. Committed warriors, armed warriors, by the way, right to carry. So we love the fact that we can celebrate this way as business leaders. You have something very unique and something that looks kind of interesting because it looks like you're hooking up. So go ahead and unveil this. What your topic is, what I called you. I don't know if you can you get her picture up there. Did you get that?
Picture is up there.
Wonderful. See, excellent. We're adding this. It's called "What Is Your Body Telling You?" Is that what it's saying up there? Something like that. That's what I am putting as a title up here by your face, up on the screen that we can't see, but they can see. What is your body telling you?
Yeah.
And it's like, how do you know what your body is saying? So we're talking about real estate and how to get approved for a loan, and now we're going like, well, what is your body telling you? And the reason we're doing that is because I want to bring all different types of people together. They can hear different things, and they can say, hey, I remember that, and I want to talk about it. So, Billie, thank you for being here. And what are these devices? And you call it Healy.
Yes, it is called the Healy.
And it has to do with understanding your body and how to improve your health. Am I correct?
Yes.
See how far I can lead. Now
You're
it's
doing
your
great.
turn. Now it's your turn. You help us understand what Healy is and can do.
Okay.
And it looks very. Were you going to be able to demonstrate how that looks when it's on somebody, or you just tell them about it? You got to show and tell.
I can do that.
So,
yeah, it is.
I was going to recommend that you
exciting.
help Matt hook him up because he's a good one for that.
We can do that.
Okay.
I love
It's a
it.
painless. It's a way to. It's a reading. It's read. Go ahead and tell us what it does first.
Okay. Well, it's a quantum device, so it can measure your frequencies in your body because everything has frequency. And whenever your frequencies get out of balance, your body goes awry. You're just not as healthy as you should be. So this little device can measure your frequency, and then after it figures out what frequencies are too low in your body, it will send the correct frequency to that area to get it balanced again.
To underscore that, to highlight that, to make it sound like you're not talking out of thin air, like, what is she talking about? Hear it again in the ears.
Yep.
Well, Matt's going to get that. See, there's that keyboard sound.
Yes.
Sounds like a sustained synthesizer.
It's gone.
Yeah, and it gone. It gone. To say, to make it sound like we're on a spaceship. That was good, actually. I wanted to say, I used to offer a product in rings called Protonic Balancer, and the rings and bracelets were designed to hold a frequency. In fact, this ring is designed that way to help your body adjust. So I know you're talking about the earth has a frequency and we're grounded. If you stood barefoot in the grass, you'd be grounded.
Yes.
But if you have shoes and floors that interrupts the ground frequency, well, your body's not going to be able to adjust. So I have seen remarkable situations where somebody could pick up something that couldn't before. That's pretty extreme. But
that is.
His wife is crying. He hasn't picked up something in years with his hand, and it was actually balancing him with that frequency. So I agree that this is going to read your body correctly.
I'm super excited about it. The more and more I learn about it, and even the experiences I've had with pain, because I had an accident 12 years ago and injured my neck pretty severely, and just live with pain. And this thing is FDA cleared for pain. And now, like, I'm sitting here. Normally sitting is not a good position for me. I'm always not comfortable. But right now I have no pain. And that is not normal for me.
So how did that get, how are you getting relief?
Right. So so first we scan you for the pain. There's different categories under the pain programs, and it'll find the right one where it'll target your central nervous system, and it'll send the correct frequencies for whatever, like whether it's chronic back pain or just chronic pain period, or, migraine or whatever. I have an interesting story. I had a friend's brother who had an elbow. I mean, his elbow was extremely painful. So I ran the scan and it came up migraine. And he didn't have a migraine. I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to listen to the Healy because I don't know. So I ran that, and his pain went away from his elbow. So I guess somehow it affects the same nerves that, would affect your migraine, your head. So it's amazing what it does.
So the Healy will have a readout. You hook it up. Mm-hmm. You put it on. You just clip it on.
Okay, do you want me to scan you real quick?
All right.
Oh, so you got to hold this in your right hand.
It's got to be right-handed. Even
Yes.
though I'm left-handed, I'm holding it in my right hand.
Oh, I think I have you in
And
here.
Alan,
don't I?
if you have any comments, please feel free. You don't have to just jump in with anything.
Just
that comes
soaking it
to
all
mind.
in, but I will ask, will that take care of ringing of the ears?
Well, according to FDA, we're not allowed to say it'll cure anything, but I will say that when it gets your body in balance, your body can do amazing things. You know
so
what I'm
it does
saying?
it balances your body. Well,
Yes.
That's kind of what I was...
Right. When you balance your body can do its thing.
One thing that I heard, that I experienced, was many people that talked to me. I sold a similar product for several years. Arthritis was a big thing that they found relief. But I can't just say, oh, it'll cure your arthritis.
Right.
But to say that your body's balanced will feel better is true.
Yes.
And the ringing in the ears, I don't know.
I wouldn't doubt it at all. I just heard a story the other day of the lady who actually brought Healy, which it was brought to America last year in May. This technology is old as far as like using frequency, I should say science. But the Healy itself has been here since May, so it's fairly new to America.
A lot newer.
Right. So anyway, she was having neuropathy and extreme pain and just couldn't get it under control. And one of her friends said, hey, you need to try this. So she did, started doing the therapy, and now her neuropathy's gone.
Is it recommended to do this on regular installments, or is it one?
Yes.
How-
Yeah. Oh,
get a
yeah.
read?
You gotta. That's why therapy, because you need to do it.
So
more
I'm
than
holding on
once,
to
most
this
likely.
little device.
What year were you born?
65. I'm going to tell all the secrets.
Well, that's what all these people.
One day I'll be
medical, they want to know
65.
when you're born.
People born in
Yes.
1960 turned 60 last year. All these, like 2020, all these even numbers.
That would have been my brother. My brother turned 60.
60, 1960 turning 60.
Okay,
Yeah.
so now just put a finger on there. You've done this before.
Any finger
so-
will do.
Yeah. So it's scanning your whole body to see
So
where
I'm
the
getting
greatest
the scan.
resonance is. That's what. Yeah.
All from your cell phone.
Yes, it's an app, and it is.
So there's a Healy app.
Right.
Is that what it is?
Yep.
Is it done?
Yep.
Can't
You're
see
done.
with the glare from
so
the
let-
lights.
Oh, where'd it go? It
Went away.
Let's go back and see. You out. Okay, it's there.
Algorithms.
So skin programs comes up first. So obviously anything to do
So
with
skin. Okay.
There's different programs under that. Pain.
Does that come up?
Pain or psych.
Psych.
I can see that.
I can understand that. Yeah. Tell me more, doctor.
Healy, let's see, Meridians program, which has to do with organs, different organs. It would break
I
it
haven't
down.
looked at my liver lately. I don't normally examine it, but it's pretty slippery
I'm sure your I'm
Right.
sure your liver is lovely.
I'm sure it is.
as far as livers go.
And then chakras, which I'm still learning, but that's like your energies down your center.
My center, my belt,
Yes.
my core.
Yep.
Right?
And then fitness programs, which doesn't
Who wouldn't need
mean
that?
it doesn't mean make weight loss necessarily, but
You try to
But-
quickly clarify that now. Remember, I'm not saying you're overweight. I'm not saying you're not overweight.
now if you want to see what specific one program under there, we would go back in and scan you again for skin.
So you go to each category
Yes.
and do a scan.
So
Now,
now
do these categories come up in order of
the most
relevance?
yeah, like the top one would be your biggest resonance.
Like the skin would be the most important one for this.
Well, it's complicated. I'm learning this right now,
right.
but maybe.
Don't be
Not
alarmed, but
necessarily.
your skin is a problem.
Well, I scanned a young person yesterday, and it came up skin, and sure enough, he had psoriasis
Huh.
or eczema. That's what it was. He had
Eczema.
eczema. So it's
I'm
freaky
analyzing
how.
my skin, and I'm thinking,
Well, let's
you know
see.
what?
Touch it
Sometimes
again.
one of my fingers gets an extra scaly on the end, and then it'll go away. But you got to analyze these things.
Yep. Sometimes you don't.
It's going through like on the computer when you're trying to get this something loaded. All right, I'm
Okay, you're
locked
done.
and loaded.
Okay, so wounds local.
Wound is local.
So
This
could
is what
be
I'm
that.
talking
Is that
about.
the
It's
only
just
wound
a-
you have? Scars,
Yeah.
acne. You don't have any zits
I
or
don't
anything.
think so. I cover it up with facial hair if I do.
So I mean, these are all low percentage, so it's probably not.
I'm not
your
in the
most-
danger zone yet. But
No.
this does have a dry, scaly, sometimes cracked end of my index finger on one hand, and then it'll resolve itself, and then it'll reemerge, and it doesn't have anything to do with the time of year. It's just up and down.
Huh.
One finger.
Okay, so if we did pain and psyche, let's see what that comes
Yeah.
up.
So again, Healy is a way to analyze your body and break it down into different categories,
Yes.
show where your balance is needed, and then how
Right.
do you restore the balance? How
Oh,
do you? Oh,
Hold on.
wrong finger.
No.
Should use the scaly finger.
Right
Right,
hand.
Alan?
Right hand.
Right hand only. That's the one with the skin, scaly skin is. You can call me the scaly skin right hand finger.
So,
Oh, it-
so if you're checking
that's
for
weird.
psyche, do you put your forehead on it?
Like you put them electrodes on the head.
Put your,
Well, according to FDA, we can't put any electrodes above the.
So you don't
neck.
do like they do in the movies?
Yeah, you're not supposed to.
Suction
So-
cups, circles on my
It
head.
came up chronic
Man.
pain, chronic back pain, depression, anxiety, migraine.
Boy, to hear this thing, I might be in a trouble.
Like I said, sometimes, those things pop up. It may be related
Chronic
to something
pain
else.
is emotional, right?
It may, well,
No, physical? I feel no
well,
pain.
it said pain,
I have
know.
emotional pain, high level,
Yeah.
but I don't
It
have
could-
but I don't have physical pain that I feel. This could be even deeper than what we could realize.
It is. I mean, it's
So,
all linked in crazy
A little
ways.
fact
You
about
don't
me:
know.
there's some circumstances in my family that are unresolved, and I have a high level of emotional pain. But I don't experience what I call
That's
physical pain. So I
interesting.
want you to tell me, good doctor, what is your cell phone reading?
You know what this can...
This is spooky, Alan. This is.
It is spooky.
I kind
It's
of wish it
crazy.
had been placed on you, because but I am the host. I'm the guinea pig.
I would have cracked her screen.
You know.
So, nah.
Yeah, it's like too much pain, too much anxiety. But I feel
Kind of like the old pinball machines. It would go tilt.
I definitely tilt.
You want, there's
want to-
something interesting that it does too.
Ding 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 ding.
It does what's called Bach flower remedies, materia medica, amino acids,
Those are some big words.
Australian bush flowers. I know.
That
Alaxin
could be a
gem
band,
elixirs.
the Australian Bushflowers, tonight at 8.
So Bach flower remedies. Let's do that one because that one.
I want to go back
you'll
to my
like that.
emotional pain.
Well, will kind of help with that.
All right, thank you. I can only.
We can run a program on you. Oh, I don't
It's
know what
probably
you did.
backwards
Okay, you can let
because
go.
that's still the wrong finger.
I think the Johnny Rooster is
You
not.
just tore it up.
Yeah. It only works for humans, not for roosters.
tilt.
Actually, you can use it on
I can
animals.
say tilt. I have seen, in all reality, I've seen this work on dogs.
You can use it on animals.
Not this particular, but the
Right.
similar technology on a collar helped improve the dog. And to me,
Okay.
dogs don't lie as much as people.
Yeah.
To me, that's
Well-
just my experience with dogs. There are some dogs that lie, but not as many. Not as many dogs in politics for that reason.
Exactly.
I think there's more cats in politics. I think cats can deceive you. I think
yeah.
they have that poker face, and then they're like, I'm going to swat you with my claws.
They're up there.
I've seen
Yes.
cats that
Oh,
have
yeah.
turned, and I have been whopped by a cat. That's like just sideswiped by a cat. Just like
That wouldn't be considered a cool cat.
it gave me the stare, and then it's just like, you know what?
Okay,
I
let me
don't
see.
like you. It's like, you know what? I don't like you either.
Are you a dog person?
I'm not either a dog or a cat
Oh,
person.
you're
Thanks
not.
for asking. Maybe that's why my analysis is wonky, because you should really declare Democrat, Republican, dog, cat. I mean, are you a dog person?
I am a definitely dog person, but
Yes.
for you it was left finger and you're supposed to do your right.
So see,
Oh, it
you're-
doesn't matter what finger.
You said hold it in your right hand, but you
Yes.
push your left hand. I'm so confused. I thought
it
maybe,
doesn't matter what finger you use.
Shouldn't it matter if I
Okay.
hold?
Let's try this
don't mess with-
again.
don't
Okay,
mess.
put that in your hand.
Again, folks, you're watching Morning Mouth with Johnny Rooster, and this is an experiment on me.
Yes.
This is Healy.
So this
Healy
is bog
program is
flower.
an app.
So just touch it.
Just do it
Right
right,
that. There you
please.
go.
Quit touching it wrong. You're touching my screen wrong.
Yes.
I'm holding a Healy device. Do you call it a device?
Yeah.
And then I've analyzed this by putting my fingerprint on the screen of the app on the phone. It's analyzing. It's doing its little vibration thing. I can see lines wiggling up and down. It's more like a sound wave look. It's not like the heart monitor. Okay, I'm almost flatlining here. No, it's actually going really sporadically. And we're clear.
So if you look at it, what's the EKG that measures the electricity in your heart?
Okay.
This measures kind of the same thing ish with your cells.
Okay.
So it's going to your cellular level. Okay, so this is Bach flower, your desired state, wild oat. Not really sure what that means, but the burden of ambiguous goals and deep dissatisfaction because one does not find his life task is balanced. The ability to recognize and utilize one's own potential and thus to realize one's goals and self is strengthened, and thereby the personal development potential is supported. Essential oil nard, gemstone chrysoprase, orchid, bifolia orchid.
Are we suggesting that essential oils and other remedies are helpful in promoting mental health?
Absolutely.
That
But
would
the
be
cool
your
thing
mental
about this,
My mental health. I'm not talking about your mental health or your mental health. I'm talking about mine.
yeah. Well,
This is
then
where who's holding the Healy?
on your head.
I'm still holding the Healy.
and then the next one is burden of extreme exhaustion of body, mind, and soul's balanced.
Yeah.
So this
This is
will
more
send,
mental emotional
Yeah,
now.
it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
showing my mental. That's why I wanted to hook
Yeah.
you up, literally, because
Is there like a clock with a cuckoo bird coming out of it?
I have definitely, Matt, I've experienced loss and I've experienced emotional pain to higher levels than normal.
The burden of pessimism, discouragement, doubt,
I
and
can't
depression.
lie. I'm on the camera.
Does that sound familiar?
Yeah, it does.
And when you run the
gonna
program
cry.
for this, it'll send that same frequency because essential oils have frequency too.
They do?
Yes, so this will send that frequency to. I don't even, this is quantum physics. I don't understand all that, but
Just because
it sends
you
the
don't,
frequencies
just
to
because
you.
you don't understand it all, and I don't.
I know, but
doesn't
it
mean
works.
electricity doesn't work.
Oh yeah, it
Smelling
works.
essential oils right now?
You are on me probably because I'm wearing them.
It smells like bergamot or something.
It's
Look at this guy. He's got the.
Hey.
It smells like bergamot.
it's geranium is what I'm wearing.
I smell onions and I smell skunks. That's it, Alan. That's what I. Not here.
Is that your essential oil? Alan?
Oh, yeah.
That's not what I smell here. I just smell strong odors, and the rest, I smell myself
Okay,
from time to time.
so I will run a quick
we can go there.
vibe on
Exactly.
you.
Exactly.
I will
I
vibe you
use-
now for those things.
I'm taking a drink, and she goes, "I will vibe you now," and looks me in the eye, and I'm like,
I use essential
probably,
oil.
I probably do want you to vibe me.
I use essential oil.
Alan, I think I'm gonna let her vibe me.
There you go.
yeah.
I'm gonna be good with that.
Yeah.
You got
Oh,
you
I
got
love
5
that.
minutes. Go ahead, vibe me.
It'll only take 5 minutes.
This is
We'll
so
do 5.
funny. Vibe me.
Yeah, I'm
she
gonna
says,
vibe
I'm
ya.
going to vibe you now. And this is on the
So-
Johnny Rooster
this is
Morning
comedy
Mouth.
gold here.
This is comedy.
5 minutes.
I'm going to save this clip. You're going to vibe me.
So now what it's doing is it's sending the frequencies for all those. It gives you the top 5 categories, and it's sending the correct frequency for that, and it's also reading your frequency. So it's not sending you too much of something, and it's sending you the right thing. So it's just.
I'm trying to fool it by being overly joyful at this moment.
It won't send you too much, but it won't. It's just.
It's giving me
astounding
some
of
good
how-
stuff. Giving me good vibes.
Yeah.
Beach Boys sang about that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Burden of flight into the past and homesickness is compensated.
Who writes these captions? This is amazing.
Isn't it crazy?
Burden of flight
mine,
to the past.
Mine that I did it this morning.
We need you
and
to
it
write
was
the Healy
spot
program.
on. It's
Yours
spot
were
on.
spot on?
Oh yeah. I'm like,
Can you disclose what happened with you?
oh, I'd have to
tell
look it
your
up because
story?
I can't remember.
You don't remember.
Just
So it wasn't
kinda
memory.
self-confidence
Memory was
type
not
thing.
improved because you can't remember. So
It's like self-confidence.
back.
I think mine is a lot of self-confidence and kind of along those lines.
without picking on you, I see that.
That's okay. Hey, we
I
all
think
have
my balls are
self-improvement.
bigger than hers. Can we
Probably.
say that?
On your show, yes.
I should hope
It's
so.
my show, dang it. They said at the front of this show that some material may not be
I
suitable
heard that.
for children. Okay?
Exactly.
I just pretend it's always Friday night, not
You
Friday
have-
morning. To me, it's midnight. To me, it's, I like that
It all
you're on
it
here.
all rolls together.
Confidence, self-confidence, self-esteem. You are a former Marine.
Yeah.
I would never see that in you. I would have crucified
I'm
you
a-
in boot camp.
You know what? But I'm very hard-headed.
Okay.
I'm very strong-willed, so I think that kind of
I don't know how you
makes it
survived
not
the,
look like
the
I'm
DI.
maybe not so self-confident.
I would have broken
You know what I mean?
twice.
Oh, I'm no.
No.
It's
Okay.
up here, and I got a
See, she's
strong
fighting
mind.
back.
I got a
Alan,
very
she's
strong mind.
Fighting back.
Oh, yeah.
You want to
I
fight?
like that. I like that because you look like a strong
fighter.
breeze, but no, you're going to do this. You're standing your
Yeah,
ground.
I'm hard-headed. Yeah, you can't.
Folks,
ask my husband.
you're experiencing the miracle of human energy here on the show.
Yeah,
I'm under
it's
a,
exciting.
this is a Healy device. It's spelled Healy. If you want to look it up, what do? Healy.com, or is it something?
No.
People get curious.
Oh, yes.
Well, it's
the
a big,
website on
There's
there.
a website on the screen. Don't worry about what I said. Watch that, look at that, and type that in
Right.
because it's on the screen.
Yeah.
I just don't see it.
Digitalfrequency.com, I believe, is a good one to go to that'll explain
But you're
things.
talking about emotional situations, not just physical.
Yes, and mental, yeah, it
Mental.
really helps. It's
Alan, you're
absolutely
safe.
amazing.
You're safe. You're over there.
I'm way safe over here.
But
I'm gonna get you,
got
Alan.
to tell me. You got something
well,
to say.
a lot of chronic illness. I mean, that I have seen through the years is mental. You
Yeah,
know, and if you change
sure.
if you change your way of thought and
Absolutely.
and get in that direction, you will heal something
Oh,
else.
yeah.
It's all related.
Mine-
I've got to
Mindset,
wrap
yeah.
this up on a spiritual note. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. I have emotional stress because I want to ruminate over the situation in my family instead of let it go.
Yeah. You
I
can't
really
change
do
it by
because
ruminating.
I enjoy the process of grieving it, but I don't have to. That's the
No.
thing. I said to myself 3 weeks ago, I'm going to stop speaking negatively about my family, and it's helping already.
Awesome.
But this is Healy, Healy.
Yes.
This is how you can find it. Billie Orosz. Her name and her contact is on the screen. Please go there. Find Billie. She's a wonderful person. I pick on her. You don't have to. You don't have to.
Yeah,
But
you do.
she's got stuff to show you about your body, and I think our buddy, even Matt, people like that would find it fascinating. Alan, you're with ReeceNichols Real Estate. You've got a wonderful set of stories, and you're a person that takes care of people long term. You're not just doing
Yeah.
a hello, I'm done, next. You're the guy that develops relationships.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yes, he does.
I'm Johnny Rooster. I'm your host, and I like to end the show with, no matter what we do or say on this show, don't hold yourself responsible for what I do. Just go out and be responsible for what you do. Thank you. Happy Friday. We're going to see Dr. Paul Collins coming up next with the Happy Hour. And this is a song I wrote, so listen. That's me playing it.
I like that. That's fun.
I'm just having
It's
fun.
happy. It's happy. You are multi-talented.
Can I let go of this?
Not yet. You got 54 seconds.
This is my jam.
I like
Okay,
this
I'm just going to
song.
stay with that.
That is so fun.
I mean, I wrote this song last week. Not
Did you
kidding.
really?
Yeah.
Is it a little Casio keyboard?
I brought the keyboard. I'm going to show you. I should play it live. I get myself going.
Bye, everybody.